We're back again with another session of Tech Talk with my good buddy Adam Oldfield from FPM3 Marketing. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing great. Doing great, Greg.
Well, you know what? You know I'm a big Blackberry guy.
I know you are.
You know I live and breathe by my Blackberry.
Yes. Yes.
The news hasn't been great, but recently there's been some highlights that are coming out. The Blackberry is back on its move forward.
A lot of different changes are taking place, and we've talked just briefly on a few of them. Like we discussed about the BBM Messenger, such a unique system of Blackberries. However, it's been announced that they've got just recently launched 2 new Blackberry phones, 3 actually. We got the Bold, we have the Curve, and we also have the Torch. So the phones are coming out. And why this is important is that they're coming out with the OS 7 software, which is a big milestone. And why it's so big is it will be the last of the era of Blackberries, because coming out of the new units will be the QNX system, which is very much what the playbook is running on. So why this is so significant is BlackBerry really does need to start looking at where it fits into the mobile market. Apple runs the profits, Google runs the market share, and where does RIM fall into play? Yeah. It's number 3. And that's not always a good place to be. Maybe it's good in car rental business, but it's not good when it comes to mobile phones. No. So where did they get there? How did they end up in number 3? Because they were number 1 for the longest time. I believe in Canada, they're still ranging in and around the 39 to 40% of most smartphones are Blackberries. But what's happening? Well, they got complacent. And now they're starting to roll out with a few of the things we talked about, the BBM Messenger, we talked about the music program. Now what's neat is their playbook. They are investing in the playbook in the tablet market, and what makes this exciting is that the beta version is available on their website if you wanted to download it. Of course, you know what, let the buyer beware.
Yeah, take some chances and a little bit of risk here and there.
You know what, it's kind of like taking medicine and they say it could cure cancer. We're not sure about that third arm you're going to grow, but in this case you can take a chance. And it's running the new 2.0 software, the QNX. And why this is important is that it's allowing the playbook to be able to advance, but you can also get a bit of a snapshot about what's going to be taking place in the new BlackBerry phones coming out after the next 3 rollout. What's neat, this is what's new in the new playbook software under the QNX. Folders. I mean, we may look at folders and say, well, isn't that what they're supposed to do? However, when they did roll it out, folders were not available, so you couldn't group your apps in a different folder and organize them. Also, designated tabs. BlackBerry liked to assign you get all internet media, BlackBerry, and games. I mean, thanks for telling me what my organizations are. Well, now what it does is it allows you to coordinate and organize that a little better, renaming them, putting them in their own categories. I think that's important as well. We also have a favorites. Well, favorites has been on the BlackBerry in the OS 6. What makes it very unique in the favorites is that it always seems to be that tab that's, I got to try and go from all to home to media. Then there's favorites. So favorites is now going to be a lot easier to get to, and it should. It's your favorites. So it should be very much timely and found quickly. What remains the same right now that they haven't changed, and maybe this will come out when the official launch of the software comes out, but right now the speed. Out of the box, the QNX has been responsive, but it hasn't really been able to keep up with the iPad 2 as well as the Android Honeycomb version of its software. But it is coming out with a satisfying speed. It's never really been lagging, but that's because it hasn't really been using a lot of resources yet. So right now there's a lot less to say about it. Battery life. That's been one of the hindrances, in my opinion, of the playbook. And one of the reasons behind that is that it still draws a lot of power to try and make it work. That's got to be an improvement area, and they really got to look at that. It's an iPad feature that they've got. They didn't even think about, I don't think, but it is a great feature. The iPads have great battery life, don't use a lot of resources. Playbook, unfortunately, this hasn't changed with the upgrade. Startup time. I don't know if you've ever restarted a BlackBerry or been with someone and said, I need a reboot. Let's give ourselves a good 10 minutes, go grab a coffee, got to go to the bathroom, maybe read a chapter of War and Peace. Should be up and running. So, ironically, reading it on your iPad. So, it still takes a while to boot up. It still has that initialization, and it still takes a while for it to get back to speed. So the BlackBerry Messenger, it still has some compatibility issues. So if you do go to download it and you got a playbook, the BlackBerry Messenger is stable, but it's got some compatibility issues that don't necessarily work seamlessly yet. So these are just some of those warning signs.
What about the apps?
Well, the apps for it right now are going to be opening up to the Android, and that's another key component. And
That's big, isn't it?
Well, they announced that at the beginning, that the playbook will be capable of running Android apps. However, there's a little caveat to that, and that is that the developers have to go through a certain process to be able to code it or switch it so it can link to the playbook. But the point is, it is possible. How many Android apps take that quick and easy flip to run on playbook? Well, that's yet to be seen. But the fact that it's available is very, very much key.
That'll be in RIM's court to try and talk to those
Absolutely.
creators of the apps to go in and make that adjustment.
Exactly, and I think that's part of their strategy, is to get a lot of excitement saying it is capable of being done, and I think that's very integral in the success of RIM in the future. So what's important right now is that if you've got yourself, we were talking about this earlier. Someone said, "Well, what kind of phone should I buy?" And you know, if you're a BlackBerry nut, my recommendation is you got another 2 years at least to stick with BlackBerry. Their functionality, their features, they still are very good. I mean, iPhone has some really neat systems in the iOS 5. I think that's cool, and we'll talk about that as well in the next episode of Tech Talk. But what it does have is it still integrates what they're very good at connecting, and that is the email communication, calendar scheduling, putting your whole life in a business format in a communication piece. And BlackBerry still is, in my opinion, the leader for that. And as far as the next models rolling out, you're safe to continue with BlackBerry. However, in 2 years, I might change my opinion.
Will you change your opinion, or will BlackBerry change its direction to follow the Android and the iPhone model?
I think right now BlackBerry is setting the stage that I can feel comfortable advising people to stick with the BlackBerry for the next couple years. However, like I said, it would be it's good they're finally starting to roll it out. My best educated opinion is the QNX will be improved, will be solid, and it will have some foundation on the market. That we will see BlackBerry be able to survive and come out of this.
Excellent. Well, you know what I'm all about. I'm all about my BlackBerry and my playbook. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here from Adam Oldfield, FPM3 Marketing. That's it for Tech Talk. See you on the next one.
Thank you.